Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we're going to talk very quickly about the best units or best allies for ESBR and SBR. I'll probably do maybe TURs of 2022 and then call it at that. I don't really feel like doing ECA TURs and all that sort of stuff, but I thought we'd talk about SBR. And yeah, basically it's a little bit different to the criteria, for example, like red zone, because red zone you still have a little bit of time to build up. Although it starts very strong, it doesn't start as strong as some of the latest ESBR and SBR, so the list will be slightly different, but you'll see some very similar units starting with Trunks and Vegeta and Goku. I think these guys will be here. Again, very similar. Reason being is the guard mechanic is just very powerful. Revive skill, guard mechanic, quick build up, good active skills, effective against all types, really strong, great defensively, super quick build up time. It is what it is. It's something that's measurable across both game modes. I think here though, Piccolo is probably tied to. So in the stages Piccolo is in, he also very similar to these two, has a super massive quick build up time. ESBR, SBR, you're frequently fighting multiple enemies. Piccolo could even be here as well, possibly. I would say his leader skill lets him down a little bit. You can't take him into tons of stages, but he's there. He's there and thereabouts. He's very, very strong as a unit. I think overall just super good. I would honestly say he's sitting in between these two categories, but for the sake of like measuring it, I would put him here, probably, I would say. Then in terms of other units, I think that perform really well. Obviously, versatility does matter, but I'm going to be honest and I'm going to say that I think these two are definitely here. So both of them have the guard mechanic, which I think is super duper powerful, honestly. And yeah, it's just really strong and super duper quick to build up and really great. And Zamasu and Rose are here as well. So this is where the difference in the list is. You'll notice all of these units have one thing in common. They all have guard for the first 3 turns, and then in SBR and ESBR, that's huge. The difference it makes to their ability to defend for the team, to build around the team, to be tanks in a stage where you 5 turns max per fight. Every fight is against multiple types of enemies. It's huge. And all of these units have that in common, makes them super duper strong overall. And just, yeah, I think personally speaking, makes them the top 5 for ESBR and SBR to me. They all build up super quick. Every single one of these units builds up super duper fast, can do huge damage. Active skills are easily accessible for the most part. And yeah, in general, I think they speak for themselves, if I can be honest with you. Then I'm going to go for something a little bit left field here. I genuinely think Cooler and Physical Metal Cooler are here when it comes to SBR and ESBR. Cooler needs ramp up time, very similar to Gohan, but he has no guard capabilities. So those first couple of turns, he can take a little bit of damage, especially if you get caught off lacking or without a first slot tank. You will probably need to use an item unless you have a Rainbow Cooler. So he's a little bit out of the top 5 for me. Really good still, could definitely be anywhere along the spectrum depending on where you have dupes, but generally for me he's at that just outside that breaking point. Janemba, I think, is 7th. Janemba has guard mechanics, but he's just a lot more limited than the rest of these guys. Whereas I can use all of these guys in multiple stages. Time Travelers, Realm of the Gods, Patara, Future Saga. Janemba I can use in a handful of stages at most, which for me does limit him a little bit in terms of his performance. But he is still very strong overall. Then you probably fill up, I think Zamasu is really strong here. I think that final trump card Goku is very strong here. He would be 10th on my list. And then I would probably say that in terms of like SBR and ESBR, that I have Gogeta at 9th. And the reason being is that 30% damage reduction is actually quite sizable, especially when you have some dupes. And the ability to heal is something that's super duper helpful in this content. Outside there, in the kind of almost rans, I would probably stick these units for ESBR and SBR, personally speaking, again, he's not on global right now, so I can't evaluate him. And they, for me, although incredibly good, are so limited that they're only there for like 2 stages. And that's really how I'd rank them. I know this is maybe a little bit quick compared to the red zone, but I think these are clearly where they lie. These two are super usable, but as units themselves just lack a little bit of that defensive control that I like from being able to handle red ESBR and SBR. They're fantastic when you can get them set up or when you can get things rolling. But like, for example, you can catch one stray super from a strength unit and you'll die. Same with the AGL unit here. Whereas with these guys, that's a lot less of a problem, and that does matter. Janemba probably could sit here with them, but he's a little bit too limited. And Zamasu himself as well, although super tanky, the damage reduction spectrum is not high enough for him to be there comparatively to these guys, although they rely on raw defense. The guard mechanic makes up for a lot of it, which I think is super important. And then, yeah, the rest I think are actually probably fairly placed. I think Super Saiyan Goku does take a little bit too much build-up time. I do think, these guys, although very similar to the Tech Gogeta, and their heal actually functions a bit better, I do think they are a little bit off. They're a little bit lower in stats, a little bit lower in performance, and I think that's why they're there. I do think you could maybe put them in the almost category. Probably, I would say, like, for SBR and ESBR. I mean, we are talking about, a game mode that relies on being 5-turn specialists. I think, for me, this is where I would probably place units. Like, if I could build teams, I would probably pick from this bunch first and then start building into these guys. The thing is all 3 of these guys are on one team, which shows you the strength of the team more so than anything. So yeah, obviously is a big deal for Cooler, and accessibility to stages is big for Cooler, which is why you could definitely possibly put him like this. But I think the guard mechanic is what I want to place prevalence on here. Like, the guard mechanic is so important when you do this content, when you're looking for no item runs. The guard mechanic is such a huge factor in the success of those runs. But yeah, so I would say that's fair enough. The burst damage of Goku's great in the stage. The rest of them I think are fairly placed. This is from my experience, and I'd love to hear what you guys think down below. So let me know, and yeah, we'll definitely take a look at some point as well. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what you guys say, and let me know your thoughts. I think it's always cool, so yeah, let me know. But cool, thanks guys, and it's awesome. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.